afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, ImperialDane, Master Propaganda, Hero Strike, Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to a 1 vs 1 on a Langeler sky between the north. We got here ImperialDane himself, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Rolling out here with the 1st Panzer Division here versus the south. We got ScreamingMinnie fighting for the Soviet Union, Socialism, Communist Stalin, and the 6th Mechanized Corps. And we got here encirclement, Jaeger Infantry Elite Troops with Machine Gun Stuke and Panzer Grenadier Bulletins versus Gauss Rifle, Shock Rifle, and Gauss Motor with double infantry and a single engineer bulletin here for ScreamingMinnie. As his engineers set out aggressively, noting a double engineer start, clearly indicating other Special Rifle Command support and company. Concept showing eastwards there, and we got MD42 Pioneer Grenadier start here from me, standard stuff, no real room for innovation there. Although theory I could sneak in some more Pioneers in the early game, but I was setting up here to protect the cuff point. Grenadiers move down to secure the munitions while the Pioneers rush for the fuel. A sort of aggressive yet efficient capping order there. In the south here we can see sort of Mini sort of slightly more sprawling out. Their Special Rifle Command almost up. Could go for some penal troops or snipers in the early game. And maybe follow up with a scout. We could also just go for a really early scout if he wanted to. But he's running about here, perhaps worrying I might in fact be rushing him. Though I have no intention of rushing the Russians here in the first few moments of the game. Setting up here, nice lockdown zone there. Almost got the munitions here, got the fuel. And is moving about. I might in fact have slightly made a mistake for some reason, ordering them about too fast. Might have been a bit distracted there mentally. Either way, bit of a mistake, and I realised that I think a bit too late here. Meaning I don't get my fuel connected as fast as I could have. Yeah, in fact I end up not realising it at all until it's much too late there. A bit of an early blunder by me. Strafnik on the way there for ScreamingMinnie. Now they're going to just got to do the job there, but that's just basically going to end up delaying things for me quite a bit. Overall, rather inefficient by me, rather inefficient. Which only means I'm not going to be getting quite as much fuel. In this case, I end up reconnecting through this path instead, thanks to the victory point. Pushing in, he's like pressing out. I'm surprised I've yet to see this sort of encounter from ScreamingMinnie. No snipers, no nothing. So I'm certainly getting a bit curious and slightly nervous. But there you go. First engagement on these penal troopers here at the 2-minute and almost 30-second mark there. Grenadiers being rushed here. The penal troops going to barely do any damage. The penal troops just shred them there, taking down in fact half the Grenadier squads again, just charging across here, no problems. Counter squad moving about. Then you 4-2 slightly might want to consider reposition. Grenadiers shifting about. Starting to worry, he might try and flank in from here. And going for a second MD42. Having seen penal troopers, of course, I know there's a chance of a sniper, but if he's actually going for penal troopers, he might just be pushing for a lot of infantry, in which case a second MD42 will be quite helpful. MD42 slightly repositioning. I need to sort of fully know where it is before I just sort of push in with a machine gun to counter attack. Up north here, Grenadiers versus Engineers. Scout car halfway down there for ScreamingMinnie and the 6th Mechanized Corps. Almost got the point up here. Grabbing the point here right next to the victory point. Grenadiers are trying to flank the Engineers, that's not quite working out. And there goes shots fired here. Pins was halted by the MD42. And we got the M31 out here for ScreamingMinnie. MD42 going point up north here. Grenadiers slightly losing out to the Engineers here actually. And we got conscripts there going to go straight for the fuel point here, trying to outmaneuver me. Nothing I will stand for. As they're dealing with Engineers, almost got them, getting the fuel here. Grenadiers moving in, Pioneers will also have to rush in. I mean, we got the MD42 joining in for extra firepower here against ScreamingMinnie. Scout car rolling up here with flamethrowers in it, very standard, so it combo with the in a lot of situations. And I end up here going for elite troops just to increase my chance up close versus the conscripts, starting them up, doing some good damage. And there goes Scout car rushing my MD42 inside. That's third Grenadier squad on the way there. No tech up yet for me. And we got a doctoral choice here for ScreamingMinnie. It is Gauss Motor. Grabbing the eastern fuel point here. Scout car rolling about. Got to push up here with Strafniki there for Minnie. And Grenadiers are setting out here. Tech up on the way. Tech up on the way. So slow movements there, more penal troopers here for ScreamingMinnie. It's a bit rare to see a play actually sort of commit to any number of penal troopers late. Either they'll just go for like conscripts, they'll go for snipers, usually then go for guardsmen, but penal troopers themselves are sort of a bit more mixed bag. Some will do, but they'll usually sort of get them to supplement their conscripts, not necessarily as the main infantry force, which is what in ScreamingMinnie here seems to be doing. Grenadiers at least trying to push back the scout car. They're not going to be able to catch up with it. Grenadiers moving up here, engaging penal troopers there. Already one squad having suffered rather grievously against ScreamingMinnie. Strafniki there. MD42 in support, at least attempting to. Back here, reinforcement going on. Take up done, and there you go, another grenade here, flashing out the penal troopers. And S-Mine starting to protect the eastern fuel point from any sort of immediate harassment here from ScreamingMinnie, at least infantry-wise. If you were to rush in the scout car, you'd obviously just run straight through them, but not all players do that, obviously, since they don't anticipate it so much. Aggressive push up the western side of the M4 2 Grenadiers. Other troops are getting ready for the next big push. Pioneers rush back to help, and we got the M4 setting up here, but right next to the scout car. Terrible timing for me, and of course the scout car is going to be able to push out the MD4 2 crew here. In fact, almost wiping out the entire thing in a matter of seconds. No dice there. I'll pick on this, push back, trying to push with the cut-off point. MD4 2 barely makes it away there. Sliver of health, tiny sliver of health. Like to make a nice go and dig up for the German army. Pioneer Grenadiers, MD4 2 in the west continue their efforts. And as soon as they like to make a nice company, I'll probably try and push for 2-2 to help counter the scout. Can maybe help deal with other infantry as well. And Grenadiers managed to make it so nice to push back the counter-squad. They're defending the eastern fuel and the victory point there. Meanwhile, continued pressure here in the west with the MD4 2 and the Grenadier. ScreamingMinnie has not really shown any much else further here besides medics up in his base. Scout car there being repaired, whatever light damage it suffered. MD4 2 in desperate need of repairs, but the 2-2 is currently the priority to help deal with the M3A1, which you definitely want dead. We also got a lot of mines going down there from ScreamingMinnie, probably 2 in anticipation of that, but also just protecting us to push there into his territories. Make it harder for me to sort of harass him or just, you know, rush him down. MD4 2 in pursuit with the scout car, almost getting a wipe there as well, but only almost. 2-2 almost done there for the German army for the first Panzer Division. Most Panzer Divisions and most any sort of armoured reconnaissance by 1944-45 would have been the heavy armoured cars, the 234, which had 8 wheels and was thusly a real better off road, or would have been half-tracked armoured cars based on the 250 half-track chassis. And there you go, first car squad out here for ScreamingMinnie. Nominations there for immediate choice of DP light machine guns. Scout car running westwards there, getting the Punitive got some S-Mines down there. Sadly, in this case, not quite the best coverage of them, to be honest. Not quite the best coverage. There you go, 2-2, Lighted Panzer Speedwagon rolls in. M4 support going up. They got more mines here from ScreamingMinnie. He's certainly doing a great job mining, though it does slightly delay his chance of getting up the DP light machine guns fast for the guardsmen. So it's worth keeping in mind there. 2-2 rolling about here, trying to keep them track. MD4 2 moving in there. Back here, reinforcements going on for the German army. Guardsmen advancing here. MD4 setting up the ground, the centric point on MD4 2 covering up. People got a flank here by the Punitive right to the Pioneers. Kind of these 2-2 going to try and move to support here as the Guardsmen being held down by heavy machine gun fire. Unable to get past. And there you go. Punitive running straight past here. The 2-2. MD4 2 could run into the S-Mine field. We could see a small chance of wipe here, and nah. Just some damage, some casualties. Minnie here following up with a heavy mortar, that way begin bombarding the fascist positions with heavy, righteous Soviet artillery. Right here, halted it seems at least by some parts of the S-Mine field maybe. Either way, does not move in. 2-2 trying to pursue here, can't start to continue to be suppressed. Heavy mortar moving up there. And in the west, we've got a bit more pressure here from our fresh Grenadier squad setting out. Well, freshly reinforced, not so much else freshness there. No further takeover there for Deutschland. Alright, Jürgen, I want you to set up some machining conveyors here, and I want you to keep an eye out for any rations. I want some dead. And there you go, hey, mortar fire shooting at the previous position of the machine gun, which is always can be a good idea to just, even if you're planning using the defensive, they should be using the aggressive, particularly in the early game, to just shift your machine guns about to that way, you know, make it hard for them just to get mortar. In this case, that paid off some nice dividends. Otherwise, that machine probably could have been wiped right then and there. Are they MD4 2, they're very low in health. I should probably consider healing up with some Grenadiers, using a med kit, or possibly getting a medic banker out. West we got the Scout car, the pursuing Grenadiers, trying to fend it off there with a Panzer first. You can do it, Fritz! Just remember, point, aim, and shoot! Ah, never mind. And strain some mine here, costing my 2-2 without getting the M3A1, rather unpleasant there. Telemine down there, good spot to lay down on mine. We'll have to see if it goes off by anything else. If it does catch something there from ScreamingMinnie, who is by yet to take up. Whereas I have, but I do not have the resource to make anything out of it. But still, I have the option now. Building the support core and then pushing out armor as soon as possible. Whereas ScreamingMinnie is now first getting a 10% command. They could go for T70 pretty fast. Rifle grenade there. Did not succeed at all. Concussive grenade off the niche. For some reason, we caught up when the penal troop was there. And hitting our mine. Counter moving up here on the flank. Could see a wipe here. At least one of the grenades got from the penal troopers. That's going to be quite a nasty loss here in the early game. There you go. Gets a wipe. Down to 2 grenadiers, 2 MD42s, and a pioneer squad. And we got support McCall going up there as fast as humanly possible for the German army. Tank on also there for ScreamingMinnie and the 8th Mechanized Corps. MD42 defending here the car point. As we can see, ScreamingMinnie launching assault guardsmen and penal troopers going in. Another concussive grenade here, certainly allowing it to slightly even out the odds in a lot of otherwise bleak situations as the Wehrmacht. Got the M301 setting out. But certainly on the defensive here at the moment, low on health, low on numbers, and being pressured all over. There you go, straight into the S-mine field, straight for the fuel, taking some damage there from the S-mines as they blow up. No medic bunker still. Bit too preoccupied with everything else to sort of set off the time and resources to do that. And there you go, S-mine's going off there, almost getting the scout cut, but the scout cut does successfully escape here. The wrath of the Wehrmacht. At least for now. Fresh harass from the west side there again. Overall, do have some more success in consistently harassing ScreamingMinnie than I think he has on me. At least for now, you can see the ScreamingMinnie is going for the T-10 light tank. Concussive grenade off left and right here. First one went off well. Second one did not make much of an impact. It could still cause him to retreat maybe if he sort of feels like the situation has rapidly turned against him. But no, I end up being the one retreating there. Also, the plan is just to pull out some armor as fast as possible if there's a ScreamingMinnie. In this case, depending on what he has, I'll either go for an Ostman maybe even, or Panzer IV Stug. But considering he's going for a T-70 behind on resource, I could easily get away with an Ostman here, but to sort of help deal with the infantry, more specifically maybe deal, you know, with the T-70. I almost got the eastern fuel point though my pioneers are close to death, and I hope to maybe replace them. Plus, I still am short of 1 infantry squad for so the bare minimum of 3, or the safe minimum of 3 infantry squads. There we go. Grenadiers, but they get within range of the Panzerfaust. No, Fritz! No! Yeah! You're dead, Fritz. But you did your part right. But still, the T-70 almost won an entire Grenadier squad. Lost the Pioneer squad. Now that's the 2 Grenadiers and an M2 MT42s by getting the Flak Panzer that way, and I really need some additional infantry here. Panzer Grenadiers or Stormtroopers in this case would be strong choices here versus ScreamingMinnie and his force composition. Certainly a rather bad position. I mean, I got 20 pops and he's got 63. I mean, this is a bit of a low point, to put it mildly. And I was certainly feeling rather not very confident in my chances of victory here. But there you go, Flak Panzer out. Going to help deal with the T-70 light vehicles and more importantly the infantry, while still being sort of a tank they can't easily deal with. Well, I could have gone for the Panzer IV. The Ostman is just fast. In this case, what was just as important is just getting out something faster pressure. In this regard, the Ostman being 30 or so fuel cheaper, plus a bit of manpower cheaper as well, played the role of sort of spurring on a Flak Panzer. I was probably gone for the Panzer IV because the Ostman is just that cheaper. And again, I just needed something armoured, something to keep my opponent occupied. I just went with that one. Mortar there, falling back. Here's the Ostman rolls ahead. Of course, I have to be careful not to hit into a mine, but even then, just a bit of pressure from the Flak Panzer can cause ScreamingMinnie to play a lot more cautiously, as he lacks right now the ability to deal with it. We're going to push here for the eastern fuel with the penal troopers, avoiding most of the S-mines, since they've been detonated by the M3A1 scout car. Grenadier, Panzer Grenadier moving in. Alright, we link up with the Flak Panzer and then we murder all of the Russians. Or it gets ahead of us and starts on before us. Why does this always happen? Allied penal on the retreat, Grenadiers going for the fuel point. And there you go, T-10 right here versus the Flak Panzer. A few shots that close, Ocean 6 on following up, people ScreamingMinnie to help deal with it. Not bad shots all there by ScreamingMinnie. Closes off the line here with the mighty Flak Panzer. The Germans had numerous versions, several of them based on the Panzer IV, though they were never built in any larger numbers. However, in fact, most armies never really had any sort of greater numbers of anti-aircraft tanks. Most self-propelled anti-aircraft weapons would have been mounted on trucks, half-tracks. On the case of some of the German vehicles, jeeps or sort of cars. Sort of fun fact there. The Ostman was only producing, I think, around 40, maybe 41. A lot they're going to be being hit there by heavy mortar fire, though they managed to fight mostly. T7 sending in here. Gonna have to follow up with a Stug. This will help deal with the H16, since the Ostman obviously can't do that. MP4 setting up, in this case, a really terrible setup by the MP4 by me, by the way, spectacularly bad. Or just some bad luck, I'm not entirely sure how to quantify that one. I'm still not sure how to do it there, to be honest, but it must have been something I did very wrong. Send the Alpine to try and hold back the Russian assault, doesn't quite have much of an effect. And fresh rush on the left side there with Panzer Grenadier this time around. Medics going up there. And lost another infantry squad here, quite lost. Pioneers to retreat before they get wiped out. Flak Panzer doing what damage can to the T-70 as he's pushed up here for the centre. Minnie is relentless. Hoorah, comrades, crush the fascists, onwards to Berlin. Berlin? Where is that? It's the capital of Germany. I thought that was Hitler Town. No, that's what the Americans call it. Oh. Sturmgeschütz, 3 Ausführungen on the way here. He's also been mining here. Good work by ScreamingMinnie. Black Panzer falling back there. 4 kills, close to veterans who won though. Attack from the north here, trying to catch Russians a bit off guard, trying to stall them. And at the same time, again, as all this happening, Panzer going to move down here, though they're hitting mines. He's very consistent in mining, and I'm really should be getting someone down there with minesweepers instead. But there you go, Stug 3G, running for das Vaterland. Setting the T-7 that's going to harass in the west. I'm just going to move the point neutral and then retreat the Panzer Grenadiers. At least wouldn't want to have the Empire entirely wasted. Of course, if I lose the Panzer Grenadiers, it's going to be wasted anyway, so, you know. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Pushing up here with the Stug and the Ostwind. Lack of able to support, though, makes it a pretty risky endeavour. Panzer Grenadiers looks like they might be able to escape the T-70 thanks to the rough terrain, which causes the T-70 not to be able to quite as easily follow. Good for me, Stug going ahead. They're catching this SU-6 there with a good hit from the centre from the cannon. And T-70 in there. Oh, man, been spotted and dealt with. Bad luck. And there you go, T-70 in there, right behind the Stug and right in front of the Ostwind. Gets away, and MU-42 takes a direct hit from the heavy mortar, getting wiped. Got 10 kills on that one already. Good work there. He's been making good use of the barrages against me, which is, of course, quite unpleasant. Guardsman going straight ahead here. Right past the Ostwind, which is so far not quite doing as much as the heavy mortar has done, but is still nonetheless holding back the Russians for a while. Back here, Pioneers reinforcing Panzer Grenadier setting up for the German cause, and we got more Pioneers on the way to help repair all of my armour, honestly. Since with the Ostwind and Stuttgart, I'm going to need to be able to repair them faster, quickly get back onto the field, since they're in part rather what's holding a lot of this together. Smoke down here. Stug going down to help deal with the scout. Kai doesn't anticipate it. There you go. Good hit from the Stug. Can he finish it off? You can do it, Dieter. You can do it. Yeah, look at that. You did it, Dieter. You're a hero. In this case, I went for the D46. I'm actually not entirely sure why. I guess it just felt like they might be useful for some of the guardsmen there, but we'll see how it works out there. Bomb grenade there gets one of the conscripts, but then nonetheless managed to go with the MD42. Quite a loss there for me. Quite a loss. Mini Ogre still remains in control of most of the larger force there. Flak Panther repaired. Stug being repaired. Actually, this is Ostwind that's been repaired first. Can soon go for another Stug, which will be my priority to help deal with the H6 and the T-70. 2 Stugs just means more firepower, meaning they more quickly just take any sort of vehicle apart and sort of put it out of commission fast enough, which is really important. Since it's basically going to be down to 2 volleys, since the Stugs have, you know, reasonable high rate of fire, that means, for example, reasonably quickly clear out an H6 within the T-70, which is rather what I want to happen. What's moving up there, doing a heavy damage by hits to the house with the guardsman. Minnie's not paying attention to it, and the guardsmen get wiped. Big tactical win there for me, knocking out the house with the guardsman in it. Two those at T-70, closing in eventually 2. Sehr good, sehr good. And we got the flak, we're trying to avoid getting too close in case they might have a sneaky upgrade of anti-tank rifles, in which case then suddenly pop out and this anti-tank's actually on me. But that does not happen. Panzer goes ahead pursuing. But the Fatherland, and a second Stug on the way there for the 1st Panzer Division. Wunderbar. But once more, Stug and Ostman need repairs. Troops need reinforcement. I've shot one infantry squad again. And we'll need more troops. Schnell. Getting a light kill there. Bring down the flak panzer since there's the least damage and can help deal with the infantry. Forcing Screaming to pull back with the conscripts. There he goes, Stug 3G out there for Deutschland. Another flank hit, another attempt at the cuff one, but he's not really making any sort of big attempts, not trying to really outmaneuver me. That does give him, make more to deal with these sort of smaller maneuvers. In this case, he just needs to work the Ostman, and it's pretty much stopped. But the Ostman doesn't manage to do that much damage. At least nothing, you know, permanent. It can't be patched up. But there you go, double H6 out for him. Of course, he works on the same principle as the double Stug. You know, more firepower means a better chance of quickly knocking something out. A lot of fire in the Stug. Gets one of the H6s. There you go, pop smoke. And it is almost being wiped out. Need to retreat. Fun fact, the what type of smoke discharge they used was actually removed from the tanks because, well, it turned out they were great at catching on fire when hit. So they ultimately ended up removing them. Little fun fact. Stug, though, here, Vetcher 2 almost knocked out, though. Pioneers have to treat the machine gun. They're not in good position either. Still lacking infantry here. And Screaming there fast to get out another H6 to replace the one so brutally knocked out by the fascists. Flak Panzer roaming up. We got more Guardsmen out here for ScreamingMinnie and the Strafniki retreat. Well, the Stug waits repairs most desperately needed. Oh, he cancels it. Could it be he's got something else planned? He's also, as you might notice, mined the entrance to the spaces, so I can't rush in and, for example, do some serious damage. Might have been in response to the 2-2 or the Ostman. The alternate here, fuel cash out for ScreamingMinnie. Good choice, have some more fuel down the road. Mines being laid down. Thorough work. Doing some damage there to that. Guardsman the final of the Ostman. There you go. Vetchi 2 gained increased rate of fire, increased anti-aircraft ability. Mine goes off. They're almost taking out the Guardsman in the process. And Stug lands a decent hit on the T-70 light tank. M42 covering up the centre victory point, preventing from grabbing it. Victory points while ScreamingMinnie's got a fat lead here at the moment. Fat lead. Troops are healing reinforcement. Penal troopers setting out. A glorious assembly of Russian infantry. And the Stug, of course, even more glorious. Glorious German engineering. Flak Panzer there, unleashing death upon the conscript. Flanking, hitting the MD42. Very good move there by ScreamingMinnie. Though again, I feel it does lack a bit of weight behind with only one squad. It is reasonably easily stopped by a single Flak Panzer. So keep doing that. Yeah, it's almost like they want to die. Well, they do live in the Soviet Union. This is better than that. You're not funny, Friedrich. That's terrible. We're terrible people, Ludwig. What do you think the skull and bones mean on our uniforms? We're not here for cake and tea. Second Flak Panzer out here. Double Flak Panzer, double Stug. I'm still really short on infantry. In fact, I've lost even more infantry. It's actually unbelievable. I'm not replacing it faster, but in this case, double Stug, double Ostman is a lot of firepower that can threaten a lot of his stuff very fast. Stug's going for the H6 and almost gets it. H6 goes down here to a well-placed shot right through the front block. There's Stug. They're taking hits from the Guardsman. There you go. Flak Panzer moving in. At least the one that is less damaged. The Almond Sack moving up to support here as well. There's the Guardsman here. More under fire here. Double Flak Panzer unleashing a Flak Sturm, which the Guardsmen have never seen and would never see again because they'd be dead. Oh, well, they were supposed to be dead, but they also managed to survive somehow. Still, double Stug, double Ostman can pack a surprising large amount of firepower. Though, of course, the tech is building up. It does require, you know, reasonable resource conservation and, you know, just how far to counterattack as you build up a larger force, then mount larger offensives with. Also, I need more infantry. I desperately need more infantry. I'm way too short. Again, 2 infantry squads is not enough. Flak Panzer sending out there. Should be able to tear apart any advancing infantry. At least stop them a bit. I have a feeling we maybe should go somewhere else. There we go. A few kills there. Got a T7 flanking up there. Hey, Mortifier in the Stook. Oh, the Osprey, I mean, and there it goes straight into the Stooks and the Ospreys. The assaults are not pretty for the T70, which do not survive. Storms were hitting the point here, with Sturmgewehrs on the way. The 3rd Infantry Squad. Spoken of in the legends. Overall, I don't really feel like in most cases the G45s make much of a difference to the Pentagon, at least versus the Russians. Maybe versus the Americans it might help a bit. But versus the Russians, it doesn't feel like the G45s make much of a difference on the Panzer Grenadiers. I would prefer you could just upgrade with infrared assault rifles, maybe at tier 4 gun access to smoke grenades, but yeah. Flak Panzer running about here, looking for targets. Minnie has not been able to take up any further. He's got no immediate way of getting out there, say T-35s. And they're going for reports here by the Flak Panzers. And they're not doing an awful lot of damage here. Stormtroopers, there's a penal troopers, button grenade, they didn't do much, but moving in the Flak Panzer part support. Stu's got to go smoke screen down from ScreamingMinnie actually. I'm not entirely sure what that one's supposed to achieve. Flak Pan's pursuing in there. Go Gaffin out from the double Osprins. Hey, Mortified, I'm saying that the Pan's going to do this cover lasting for a few seconds before the Osprins proceed to batter the Guardsmen, showering them with a storm of shrapnel and high explosive firepower, almost wiping out the entire Guard squad. Mark Beagle in the Osprey that's going to force it to fall back. Stormtroopers flanking in. Main gun out on the Flak Panzer. Stormtroopers arriving. There we go, Guard Squad number 2 out. We got a mechanized armor company up here for ScreamingMinnie. Taking some time. Those Stooks rolling ahead there as well. Crushing cover and at least attempt to crashing Russians. Black Panther moving up there. Osprey there, driving straight into a mine in a few seconds. Kaput. Costing me my almost veteran 3 Flak Panzer. A grievous loss for the fatherland. And the Stook here, my almost ace Stook, has got a damaged engine, which is definitely not good either. Also failed to upgrade it with a machine gun. That's good as well. But aircraft there knocked out of the skies. And they're going to tank grenades pelting the frontal arm with the Sturmgeschütz. Guards running hit, they're trying to take it out. And the Osprey's just sort of hanging back a bit casually. Finally building a medic bunker, they could have that up much sooner. He's bringing up eastwards. Flak Panzer rolling back alongside the Stook here. Super close to Veteran 3 and the ace level. Finally getting the machine gun added. Both shouldn't have it because that delays the medics. Silly me. Whereas from the eastern side, he's not going to try and engage me head on anymore. At least not until he's built up a larger force. Which is probably a very wise decision there by him. This is being shredded here by the Panzergrenadiere. And the Sturmgeschütz providing ample fire support as well for the fatherland. 3 vehicles and 3 infantry kills. Not bad. And for some reason, again, they just move on to disable the mines, so they actually don't get the point rendered neutral. Bit of bad luck there for ScreamingMinnie. Bit of bad luck. Osprey sweeping down, clearing through the Russians. Panzergrenadiers hot on their heels. They're not quite as hot as the Ostwind. ScreamingMinnie here can soon go for the T-35, but the Christians will heavily go for the H-5 instead, the T-34-6. The issue right now is manpower. It's actually suffering quite a bit of bleed here. It's only worth keeping in mind. Direct hit on the enemy forward from Heavy Mortar, wiping that one out. 24 kills. The Heavy Mortar has been doing crazy good work there for ScreamingMinnie. Crazy good work. Got him bled out a bit then. Victory points, but not by a lot. Gebaltelat, and then the Heavy Mortar going to try and at least wipe it out. Collapse on the veteran. There you go. Veteran T2 and getting it wiped there. The Panzer this time around, the flak, but not a Flak Panzer, but the regular Panzerkampfwagen 4. In case he does decide to go from, in this case we've got the H-5 on the way for ScreamingMinnie. A tank destroyer. Panzer 4 almost done. Almost, but not quite. And finally got the medics. Grabbing the victory point there. Flak Panzer with infantry support moving in. They're very light infantry support, not exactly a large amount. And we can see Stug in there, and it's attacking obviously just to help versus any sort of armoured support there. In the centre, Stooks, they're trying to hold back a guard squad, need the M40 to help assist with that, plus of course more infantry, Panzer IV splitting westwards. And there goes 5 for ScreamingMinnie, and the 8th Mechanised Corps, Panzer IV arrives on the scene. Double Stook unbinding the Gaspin, doing as much damage as can. We got 8 kills on the 8th Stook now. 8 kills for the fatherland. And for preventing them from getting rushed by the infantry. Flak Panzer and Panzer IV here bombarding the penal troops, forcing at least back the one with the DP light machine guns. Gaspin repulsed here, conscripts repulsed. 3 kills on the other Stook now, and there you go, rushing for the anti-tank. Penal troops there rushing straight ahead. There you go, successfully repulsing them by sheer force. Going straight here for the guards, and there you go, forcing retreat here as well. Stooks, Panzer IV, Ostman rolling in. HQ5 there is going to be overwhelmed here. Switching off the Ostman and the Panzer IV to deal with the infantry. Stooks going for the kill on the HQ5 tank destroyer. And down it goes, down it goes. Utter destruction, utter annihilation. And there you go, GG, game over. Over that, ScreamingMinnie surrenders, a loss for the Third Union, a victory for the Wehrmacht, a victory for the Sturmgeschütz. Certainly highlighting the power up of a well-handled pair of Sturmgeschütz, but even just a pair of Ostmans can do some damage. I still kind of wish they hadn't buffed it, but actually buffed it just a bit more. But still, reasonably effective when used in pairs. They can sort of stop some infantry, at least force your opponent to retreat. Panzerguns and Stormtroopers I think also did reasonable, at least the Panzergun it is did, though I certainly suffered in the infantry department quite a bit. And the MG42s also did reasonably well, but the heavy mortars really sort of just outperformed, like, in part because he's pretty good at using the mortar barrels, which is really important when you use your mortars. In particular, the heavy mortars really reliant on the mortar barrels to really hit anything. So some rather nasty engagements here, but they're able to hold on and slowly turn the game around thanks to the Stooks and the Ostmans, building up a more solid platform for infantry to fight from around. And that way turning around. S-Mines, I think, also played a role here and there and sort of slightly slowing him down. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe to your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay and find some feedback in the comment section. Links in the video description containing your own replays as well. You can also find a link there to donating or pledging on Patreon, thusly support the Propagandacast, allowing me to keep doing this day after day. So if you do like it, do consider. This is ImperialDane signing off, and see you all another time for another video. Cheers.